to Jimmy in last year's World Masters final. I can look down into the arena, see that the players are about to enter. I'll put you in the very capable hands then of our MC for the World Championship, Alan Hughes.
And now on to table number one, and a young man of whom Mortar is so proud, with a brilliant attacking game that is always full value for money, a former finalist in the World Masters. Win, lose or draw, you'll be guaranteed some action from the world number 22, Tony Drago. And his opponent, one of the most popular players the game has ever produced, and the two major titles this season already in the locker tell us he's playing the best snooker of his star-studded career. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome back to the Crucible, the whirlwind of London town, Jimmy White.
Okay, so settle down at home and enjoy the action live here from the Crucible in the capable hands of Jack Carnham and John Spencer.
Well, the applause there says far more than I can tell you about Jimmy White, and indeed John, Tony Drago. What a prospect we have here. Excitement galore. Well, that's a little bit thin in the contact, and both players will be searching for that bottom cushion. Both deadly long potters.
One.
So the first point to Jimmy White.
Six.
Certainly looks to be all right into the red into the right corner here. But the colours are not ideally situated.
Seven. 14.
Now, will the black still go into the right-hand corner? If it will, Jim could be in business.
$15.
Well, he certainly gave that a good whack, but didn't get the run on that one would have expected.
$20. $21.
And nice to see that Jimmy White's just a little bit slower in his approach to the games, but very nice tempo. He gets down once he's made his mind up and plays the shot.
And that's a great
26.
shot from Jimmy. Perfect position on the red into the right-hand corner.
$27. $34. $35.
And again, Jimmy's just short on the blue there, wanted to be the other side, to come back for the reds. And no chance this time of going round the angle, so we'll have to leave the right-hand red there into the corner pocket.
$40. $41.
Well, Tony will be realising that his safety has got to be on high level today. And this is a terrific break by Jimmy White in the opening stages,
48.
having to battle for every ball he gets.
$49. White.
Yes, a slight heavy contact there.
Obviously, the way Jimmy's looking, the red won't go into the corner, so he'll be splitting the pack here.
$56. $57. $59. $60.
And certainly Jimmy couldn't have wished for a better start than this. Certainly wasn't, or didn't appear to be much left when he went to the table. This is a brilliant break. Just
67.
one more red to put the frame safe.
68. $75.
Well, he's certainly won the frame, but what a magnificent effort for starters.
1.
Yes, and Tony quite rightly continuing with the frame to just get a bit of potting practice. Been sat in his chair since the start of the frame virtually.
9.
Yes, it would do Tony a power of good
16.
if he could clear this lot.
17. 22. 22. Tony Drago. One. Three. 5. 8. 12. 17. 23 in the frame.
Well, he's not bothered with the black. So Jimmy White takes the first frame. He leads 1-0. And what an opening frame. And if
Quiet,
one
please,
could
ladies
pick
and gentlemen.
two
Still another match
players
on. Thank you.
in the world to play and create an atmosphere of excitement, it would be hard, John, to pick two other players.
Yes, they're both similar style players, both aggressive, very fast players and love to attack the game. And it's one of those matches that if you blink, you're going to miss something. They certainly don't hang about. And that was a tremendous break from Jimmy to start with.
Yes, it would be nice if Tony could just slow slightly in his approach. I think he almost makes a battle of the who can be the quickest. And on the other hand, Jimmy, I think, over the last couple of years is gradually getting that beautiful tempo.
The second
And
frame.
it's showing results here, my word.
Jimmy White to break. White, yes.
Well, beautiful strength. That's what Tony has to do if he's going to put a rein on Jimmy.
Yes, and that's the part of Jimmy's game that's improved over the last couple of years. Certainly far better on the safety than he ever used to be.
Well, 4, Jimmy
Well,
White.
that's cruel. He played the safety. In fact, it was quite remarkable that he found his way through the reds there. Well, acknowledgement for
1.
a handy fluke.
Yellow all. 1, Tony Drago.
This is a difficult one for Jimmy. I think he's trying to glance off the red to the left of the pink and take the white back to bowl, but a difficult shot. You can't play better than that. Tremendous shot.
Well, there is a possible route back, but Tony is very careful here. He's frightened of a collision.
So that's about the best he could do. But has given Jimmy a couple of options of reds into the centre pocket. Just looking at the one to the right, these are difficult. Into a blind pocket.
One. Six.
Well, obviously, he's trifle unlucky there. Just got a slight cover on the red to the corner pocket. It's one into the centre, but he's got to be very careful about the cue ball here. So he's refused it.
Tony Drago.
And very wise. Yes, now Jimmy's in a similar position to which Tony had. Escape route is very difficult.
One. Seven. 8. 15. 16.
Well, that clears the corner pockets. So now then, can he keep this going?
$23. $24.
So this is
31.
an excellent reply now by Tony.
32.
And Tony again, great break builder when he gets in amongst the balls. And probably a faster player actually than Jimmy when he's in the balls.
$39.
Well, he looks to the skies, and that's a little unfortunate. Kissing the pink was the very thing he just wanted to miss. What a difference that's made.
$39. Tony Drago. One. Eight. 9. 16. 17.
So just the black required here for Tony to leave Jimmy needing snookers this time. 59 ahead. That makes it 66 and 59 on the table. So
24.
Tony will be feeling a lot better now.
$25. 30. $31. $31, Tony Drago. And a frame.
So a little raise of the hand there. Jimmy says, well, that's enough of that one. And another frame in about 11.5 minutes. Goodness gracious, this is marvellous. And John, the thing that impresses me very much indeed is, having watched both these players over the years, that Tony, is undoubtedly a tremendously fast player, he hasn't been made nervous by Jimmy's wonderful start. He's got in there and he's equalled exactly what Jimmy's done.
Yes, Jack, tremendous performance there from Tony. A lot of people would have been a bit overawed with the start that Jimmy made. But Tony's as I say, he's a very fast player, but he's a terrific break builder when he gets in amongst the balls. And that's just what he did there.
The third frame.
Well, even John
Tony
Street's getting the balls up quickly, so be an early lunch today.
One. Eight. Nine. $16.
Oh, that's a nice little kiss on the red there. He's just pushed that red into the
17.
open, which makes it more available. And my goodness, he does look determined, this fella. He's stomping around this
24.
table.
25.
Looks as though he's been rather fortunate
25,
there.
Tony Drago.
Just come and covered the red up with the pink.
One. Three. Four.
Well, now, there is a red that he could get on quite easily. So after this black,
11.
should I say red and black?
12.
He's got to do something about the reds.
Yes, and I think he's just overrun on the black there. Want to be a bit lower down the table for an angle to go into the pike. Looks to have finished a little straight. So may just have to accept the 7 points and play safe.
$19. 19, Jimmy White.
Oh dear, now that is a bad mistake. About the first really loose shot there's been so far.
1.
And how costly is that going to be?
Yes, that could be quite costly for Jimmy. Red spread out all over the centre of the table. Tony now 14 points in front.
9.
You'd have to say this is a good chance for Tony to clinch this frame.
16. 17. 23. 24. 31.
No, he didn't like queuing over the red.
32.
And when you can pot like Tony, it can make a great deal of difference. But he hasn't played that one
35.
too well.
Yes, but just needs the red and a colour to leave Jimmy needing snookers. Well, there's the red, but the colour
36.
might be a little more difficult.
$36, Tony Drago.
Well, Jimmy has to be careful now. Tony just requiring the one red to make them fairly safe. My word, and that pink has done him a favour. And a little smile on Tony's face there. And nice to see the game played in this sort of spirit as well.
So a chance of Jimmy, for Jimmy here, red into the corner, but needs a black off this.
Oh dear, oh dear.
5.
And although he's knocked the blue
Jimmy
in,
White.
Jimmy now wants a snooker, but may have a free ball here.
Free ball.
So that's come to Jimmy's rescue, and that's dreadfully unlucky for Tony Drago. If he hadn't have given the free ball, Jimmy couldn't have won.
Free ball.
Yes, and with the balls in the position they are. I don't want to put the kiss of death on Jimmy, but this is almost a certainty.
7.
Yes, and if Jimmy wins this, Jack, you'd feel it's an injustice to Tony. He seems to have done all the work in the frame. Desperate piece of
15.
bad luck. But these still have to be knocked in.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, John.
18.
Totally impartial to the result, but I think the world wants to see Jimmy White do something. He's been such a consistent
22.
player in this tournament. But, well, that was terrible luck, bad luck.
27.
And there it is. It's like shelling peas for these fellows. So Tony
33.
must put that one behind him. So, a wonderful clearance. Terribly hard luck for Tony Drago there. He trailed by the odd frame of 3. Well, John, we've seen some bad luck at times, but apart from
please.
bad luck, that
Thank
was
you.
almost cruel. And I think the first one to acknowledge it was Jimmy White.
Yes, Jack, you couldn't get crueler than that. Potted a good red, was unlucky to, first of all, knock the blue in, but then to leave a free ball when Jimmy wanted a snooker was virtually diabolical. I mean, it was terrible luck.
Yes, and the first 2 frames we were saying were 11.5 minutes. We thought they were quick. That one was 10.5.
Yes.
So, you know, we'll get a dinner in as well today.
Yes, that's one thing,
Fourth
as I say,
frame,
with
Jimmy
these
White
two
to
players. There's no messing about. It'll just be interesting to see now if Tony can put that bit of bad running behind him. Has to forget it.
Well, it's a tough black, and the rest as well, but having said that, if anybody can play with the rest, this man can. Yeah, beautiful control. Beautiful control.
8. 9.
Yes, I think that's another aspect of Jimmy's game. Probably the best player I've seen with the rest. Very rare you see him miss them.
Yes, I think Jimmy's gone a little straight on this black. He turned away in disgust there with the bad contact. Of course, when you're dead straight, there's only 2 ways to go, forwards or backwards. And he found a little bit of side there to take him above the pack.
16. 16, Jimmy White.
Jimmy can get through to the red just above the black. And it will pot into the left-hand corner, and he's just looking if there's a gap to get round the angles back to the ball. He didn't find the gap, but he found the pot, and that's worked out pretty good for Jimmy.
Eight. Nine. $15.
And Jimmy here looking 2 or 3 shots ahead, trying to work out what
16.
angle he wants on the blue. Now is he going to go in the pack? I feel he will. And I'm wrong again.
21.
Yes, all that squinting there, John, was to see if he could just get that one in the corner
22.
and across the black. Will go, I think. But when you see it there, you realise just how tight the margins are. Now a little consultation here.
Yeah, oh, sorry, yes, yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Jimmy is confirming with John Street, the referee, that the red will go if the black, which is potted, is then replaced on its spot.
$29.
That was good thinking by Jimmy, just making sure.
Yes, of course, he made sure of that because the black is actually on its spot. It was going as near as possible. Well, Jimmy went into the pack there, but not with the real zest that he
35.
usually does. Didn't put a lot into that, consequently. Didn't spread them very much, but he has a red on into this left-hand corner pocket. And I would feel would probably be trying to screw back for the blue.
Well, that was a difficult
36.
shot, in as much as he had to try and balance the weight on both reds there. And at the same time, hold the cue ball for the black.
Black ball. $36. Jimmy White. 1.
And that's a nice kiss on the green for Tony there. Give him the angle to come down for the reds.
4. 5.
Just looking just ahead there to see the situation of the reds. Now then, if he can succeed here,
12.
he might well give him a chance.
Now desperately needs
20.
an angle on the black after potting this red to go into the 3 reds round the pink spot.
21.
He's got the angle there. Now he doesn't go into them too hard, he should be pushing towards the centre.
Well, he got some applause for that, but actually he was a little bit unlucky there that he didn't spread the 3 reds. So he's got to pull one out of the bag here. Oh, look, what a brilliant shot that is.
29.
That really was a great, great shot. I mean, so unfortunate to miss the black. What a wonderful cannon, John.
Yes, I think it was a bit of a rash shot in actual fact, Jack. I think that was the time with the 2 reds behind the pink there to be playing a snooker off one of the baulk colours. They're not the shots you play when you're 23 behind in the World Championship.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. But on the other hand, that's why we're enjoying this so much.
Three. 4.
So this pink will make Jimmy feel quite safe, and that surely means that at the interval, mid-session interval, he's going to lead by
10.
3 frames to 1.
12. 15. 19.
So certainly 3-1 it will be, and I must say that perhaps
24.
a little bit unlucky for Tony that I think justice might well have been 2-all.
30.
Well, now the applause will erupt.
37.
So at the mid-session interval, Jimmy White takes the frame to lead by 3 frames to 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, but please, if you're going out, could you go out without talking? There's another...
Well, what a long frame that was. 12 minutes. Hey, what a rate. Exciting stuff to watch. Watching it with me, a very exciting player in his own right. Peter Ebdon's making a name for himself at this championship. Good stuff, Peter.
Yeah, very entertaining snooker.
Yeah.
Quick stuff.
I reckon these are men after your own heart in their style of play.
That's right. I mean, obviously, Jimmy was one of the great inspirations for me. I mean, obviously, I don't try to put myself in the same class as Jimmy, because no matter how good people get, you know, there's Hendrys, and nobody will ever be in the same class as Jimmy for natural ability. He's the most natural player there's ever been, in my opinion. I don't think there'll ever be anyone, you know, like him ever again. But he's absolutely fantastic to watch.
So often, a lot of people would equate speed with mistakes. Is that necessarily true? when we see people like Drago and White playing, are we always going to see the unpredictable, the mistakes creeping in?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the exciting thing about snooker, really. You might see the odd mistake, but also you'll see the shots and the frame-winning shots and, you know, the fantastic break building that you perhaps wouldn't otherwise see. You'll see attacking shots that you wouldn't see from, you know, other players. And
A little short of the bottom cushion there. Now, will Jimmy take this on? No, that was a better pot than it looked. Played them with a lot of side as well.
Three. Four.
Beautiful strength. And not that time.
11.
Yes, Tony will be very disappointed with that shot. A lot of points available there, had he got good position.
Yes, it's not even easy to run away here.
Tony Drago.
Right over the right-hand corner, of course, was the danger there. Not that it's an easy pot, but these fellows, they do knock them in. Yes, Jim is virtually cut off from the left-hand side of the table. It's quite a tricky one here. Well, and now some of the safety plays beginning to match the potting that we've seen. Some very good stuff going on. Now he's forced an error, but left a very difficult chance on.
Yes, I don't think Tony can take a pot on here. Maybe playing a shot to nothing. I think the white will be going back to the balk end. And again, rather rash attempt from Tony there. I think he should have been playing an out-and-out safety shot.
Quiet, please. One. Seven. Eight.
And Jimmy, rather fortunate there, was playing the pot direct. But now with the pink available in both corner pockets,
14.
looks a little ominous for Tony once again.
15. $21. 22. 28. 29. 35. 36.
'Well, I would think he was hoping just to pass the pink, but the kiss he's got on it still leaves him with an opportunity into the centre pocket, and he usually plays these very well.
42.
Yes, and it looks like he's been a little fortunate again, just nudged the red, so that it will pass the black.
$43.
'Just maybe a little
49.
bit on the gentle side there. This is a very tough shot indeed.
50.
But such is the quality of Jimmy's cueing.
Black ball. 50. Jimmy White. 1.
Well, he gave that an almighty wallop and so much top on it that it turned into reverse side. And how does he get out of this?
Green ball.
Nominated the green.
Well, 1, Tony Drago. 4, Jimmy White.
Well, that red's managed to run safe, but I fancy Jimmy to pot this one just above the black spot.
One.
And that should be end of this frame. Now 49 ahead, just one red required.
7. 8. 14. 15. 21. 22. 27. 27, Jimmy White, and the frame.
So Tony concedes, has enough of that one. And Jimmy White makes it 4 frames to 1. And the quiet efficiency there of Jimmy White feeding off the mistakes of Tony. And in that frame, John, with 13 reds on the table, Tony fell for it and played a very rash shot indeed, and he just cannot afford to do that against Jimmy. He is so proficient, isn't he?
Yes, I think that's Tony's failing, if anything. He's an aggressive player, and he just can't contain himself. You know, it's give him a pocket, and if the ball will go, he has to go for it. And occasionally, you know, a good safety shot's got to be the best shot to play.
Yes, there were a couple of shots we didn't see there of him sitting down watching Jimmy, and one feels for him because he suffers awful frustration. He just wants to get on there and hammer the balls. And that's a great break. blue getting mixed up with the three colours around the balk end are making snookers very enticing.
Foul 4, a miss, Jimmy White.
Well, John Street is called a miss, but I don't think Jimmy will take that. He'll be happy to drop this one in. Well, doesn't often do that.
Yes, and Tony was out of seat like a greyhound there.
1.
I don't think he could believe what he saw.
Eight. 9. 16. 17. 24. 25. 27. 28. 3 ball.
No joy.
31.
Yes, a good effort from Tony, but hadn't really the angle to get off the green into the pack with any power.
$31, Tony Drago. One. Yellow ball. 1, Tony Drago.
Now that's well played. Refused a pot there and well within his capabilities, but just looking to the future a little. And that is close. That is very close.
Foul 4, a miss, Tony Drago.
But not close enough.
Behind the brown one. Yeah,
A
behind.
little discretion. Where did the white ball go? Sounds like the title of a song. And that's a snooker. Of course, he can get a very slight bend on that to take the left side of the reds, but he can't guarantee contacts. So wisely off the cushion first. Oh, watch the black.
Well, 7 and miss.
Dear me.
Jimmy White.
Yes, then Jimmy will have this one put back. But the reason the referee gave a miss there is 7 reds in a semicircle there, which very easy to hit one of them, but Tony was just trying to rest against these 3 on the left.
John Street was a little bit out there, and Tony put it exactly where it was, which was even worse. So very sporting. Oh, that's a great shot. Happy with that. Great shot.
1.
Yes, that's what you call potting your way out of trouble. Was in quite a bit of trouble, so decided the pot was as hard as a safety shot.
Five. 6.
And Jimmy thought twice about potting the brown there. And a fleeting glimpse of safety, and certainly taking the right shot because he's got an opportunity here. Just
13.
Trailing by 12 points. And he's not going to hit the red, but just working things out.
Yes, he's just looking to see if he could have potted the black if he gets the white down there.
14.
Obviously feels he can.
22. $29. 30.
What a beautiful
37.
break this is. Needs position on the black each time he's played. Now taking a 12-point lead.
$38.
Looks like end of break, but I feel Tony may be in a bit of trouble after this shot. Although Jimmy's taking the yellow on and trying to screw back for the reds at this end.
Yes, John, I think anything that's on now for Jimmy, he's cueing so well that he just sees the line and they go.
Yes, and we're going to take this one on now into the green pocket.
Beautiful shot.
Beautiful shot.
41.
And I don't think even Jimmy can get position on the next red. Just a little too high on the black.
I wouldn't like to bet that he doesn't pot this one, John.
48. $49.
So 29 points ahead.
Yes, and just the red required now to leave Tony needing snookers, and he must feel
54.
down in the dumps after this. Certainly wouldn't have expected Jimmy to put a frame-winning break together here. I certainly didn't.
61. $63.
Yeah, such is the quality and the tempo that Jimmy plays at that one can watch this and think, well, you know, it's
66.
very pleasant. Plays very nicely, but the skill involved here is quite tremendous.
70. $75.
Well, this is Jimmy's moment of glory. He loves these extravagant shots. He's on the black, I'll bet. The pink doesn't really matter. No, he's not.
75, Jimmy White.
So another frame goes to Jimmy White, and he leads by 5 frames to 1. And the scoreline, which very strongly in favour of Jimmy, but at the same time, tremendous contribution in this match so far from Tony Drago. And you know, John, when you get 2 players of this calibre, a lot of, or at least some of the credit must go to Tony, because he gives Jimmy the very opportunity that he requires, because he likes a quick player to play against.
Yes, as I said before the match, they're both very quick players, and obviously they like their opponents to be a quick player. But that break that Jimmy's just got there, I don't think you'll see a better break in this championship, and that must have absolutely gutted Tony.
Yes, it's absolutely sheer brilliance, there's no question about that. But all Tony can do is tighten his
7th
belt.
frame. Tony Drago to break.
not try and hurry things too much.
One.
Well, not quite on the blue, but you'll probably dab this in and remain on the red. Nope.
One. Jimmy White.
Now it's very important for Tony to string a sizable break together from
One.
a leave like this. Not only get his own confidence going, but put a bit of pressure on Jimmy.
Four. Five. Eight. Nine. $16. 17. 17. Tony Drago. One. Blue ball. One. Jimmy White. One. Eight. Eight. Tony Drago. 1.
Oh, that's an excellent shot. He certainly
3.
judges the cue ball into the pack very well off the cushions.
Overhit that one by quite some distance. Was playing for the pink into the centre. And now, just a safety, I would think.
Pink ball. 4. Tony Drago.
That is about half an inch short there on a total snooker. Still, he's forced an error from Jimmy there.
One. Seven. Eight.
Well played to get on the black there, but a little too thin in the contact.
Eight. Tony Drago.
Well, now a chance for Tony to pull one back here. And a little careless there, he just thrashed that in. And that can be one of Tony's problems. He's in such a hurry.
Yes, and that was caused by having to play the more difficult red. Should have been on the other one. So 42 in front, 51 on the table.
That's again, that's a bad shot by Jimmy. He's played 2 or 3 loose shots in this frame. So now another chance for Tony to make sure of this.
Seven. 8.
Yes, and had he lost this frame after that bad positional shot, I don't think there would have been any way back for Tony, but managed to stick to it. 57 in front, so certainly pull one back here.
$21. Tony Drago. Two, Jimmy White, frame, Tony Drago.
Well, so Jimmy White attempting there to clear the colours. Didn't succeed, so immediately concedes, and Tony Drago pulls one back. It's 5-2. And the crowd, they really are enjoying this. They're really having a treat today. Everybody abuzz talking about 2 fabulous players. And you passed a remark there, John, that he must stick to it. And, you know, if Tony can stick to it, you know, there's no reason why he shouldn't get on a roll, because he is really devastating when he gets going.
Yes, the biggest problem Tony's got is what we saw there. He tends to rush into some shots, and he played the shot before he realised it, and only needed 1 red and had to play a much more difficult red than he should have been doing.
The 8th frame, Jimmy White to break. One. Eight. 9.
And that's a well-judged shot.
16.
Had to be careful he didn't overhit that one.
17.
Now we'll be playing for that red just at the back of the pack, and I would think you want to leave an angle on it, which he's not done, so that he could have
24.
opened the rest of the pack, but still pot the ball.
25.
And will he go into the pack of reds or play for the red into the left-hand centre?
$32.
Well, now nicely on the blue.
33.
And what are we going to see here? Oh, don't go in, don't go in.
Foul.
Oh,
33, Tony
again,
Drago.
well,
5, Jimmy White.
that's very unlucky.
Yes, couldn't have got into a pack of reds better. Had to just miss the pink there. Was aiming to knock that red to the corner pocket, but again, Lady Luck played a part.
1.
there's the deep frustration that Tony suffers. It's the Latin temperament.
6. $13.
What a great shot.
14.
Worthy of a better fate.
Bingo. 14. Jimmy White. One.
Well, now there's a splendid chance here for Tony. He's got a nice little lead now, and they haven't fallen too well.
8.
If he can win this frame, well, 5-3, anything can happen.
Looks like he's going to attempt this red into the left-hand corner, but a very fine shot. And those are the situations where I think Tony should occasionally play a positive safety shot.
Yes, the pity there was he's got an acknowledgement from Tony, but Tony should have tried to have left Jimmy tight on that top cushion there. Prevented the opportunity of coming back to it.
Foul 4, a miss, Jimmy White.
I feel Jimmy will have these put back. Probably see the same shot again from Tony. That little bit harder.
Well, Jimmy leaving a tempter here. And it's worked. this red affords a little more safety should he miss. I said should he miss.
1.
Yes, Jack, a tremendous pot there. Still 17 points behind. But certainly in with a great chance here.
Seven. Eight. $14.
That's about the only place he wouldn't have a pot on, but I would think he'd certainly attempt a plant here into the centre pocket. Quite a gap between the two balls, so this into certainty.
15. $20. $21.
Well, he's had 2 or 3 opportunities there, and he's fallen nicely on the green, or indeed the yellow if he wanted. But he's got to attack this red. Just 3 points ahead. And just enough angle now to send this in.
24.
Colours almost on their spots.
25.
Yes, and these are the positions you would certainly expect Jimmy in this mood to win from.
29.
Now 11 ahead, so just the yellow, green and brown required.
$31. $34. $38. $43. $49.
So another wonderful performance. Dear, oh dear. He's so greedy, he even pots the cue ball. So another wonderful finish by Jimmy there to make it 6-2. And this must be heartbreaking for Tony Drago, because this man is the Rolls-Royce of snooker. There's no question about that. John, I've seen Jimmy in some most spectacular games. I don't think I've ever seen him play better snooker than this.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying that, Jack. I've seen Jimmy play some excellent snooker all his life, but he's certainly playing very well today. And, of course, to add to that, for Tony, he's not having the running, Tony, so he must be feeling really down at the present time. Certainly not played snooker that deserves to be 6-2 behind.
No, that's true, and I mean, that frame there, he played a couple of rather loose-ish shots which brought Jimmy back into the frame, but there we are. I don't think we're going to alter Tony. He's, as I said before,
Thank you,
he's a
ladies and
Latin
gentlemen. The final
temperament,
frame of this session, Tony Drago's
excitable bloke.
1. Eight. 9. 16. 17. 24. 25.
Well, that last previous shot has opened 3 more reds, so he's still got plenty of points here before he gets too ambitious.
32. 33.
'Yes, and we've seen this a few
39.
times this morning. Tony shooting away into a lead, only for Jimmy to come back late on and win the frame. So Tony needs to
Foul.
take a little
39.
care. And that's a disaster for Tony. His
Drago,
shirt sleeve
4.
catching the yellow.
Well, again there.
Can I just check the score, Jim, please?
Hurried, excited,
Is it 39 or 40?
heartbroken.
Thank you.
Yes, and he must feel the world's against him at this moment in time.
Sorry, correcting it.
So Tony, 35 points ahead, and Jimmy in with a chance.
One.
Yes, and I think this morning, Jack, Tony
6.
has been punished for every mistake he's made.
Yes, that's the word, and that face says punished, doesn't it? I was just going to say, John, before you said that
7.
this is the awful moment for Tony, not only when he's frustrated with having missed, but when he does miss, he's got to sit there and watch this man devour the balls.
14. 15. 22. 23.
And although there's a couple of loose reds here, we may see Jimmy go into the pack.
30.
Tony jumped out of his seat then to have a look. And
31.
that red has left everything in the clear.
$38.
So Tony's 39-point lead disappeared. Now Jimmy
39.
4 in front. And I'm sure the way things have been going, Tony isn't
46.
expecting to get back to the table. And I must say, I don't think he will be.
47.
certainly expect Jimmy to win the frame at this visit.
$54.
And the comparison, well, Jimmy is walking around so serenely and, as I said, devouring everything before him. Whilst Tony sits and sweats profusely.
55. $62. $63.
So this red
68.
virtually guarantees the frame.
69.
Yes, it must be heartbreaking for Tony, this.
74.
Fouling the yellow with his sleeve and not getting another chance.
76.
Well, he's now has the feeling that he's given up
79.
for this session anyway. So there is a degree of relief, if one can
83.
call it that he doesn't have to suffer any more punishment for a while.
88.
And this is poetry in motion.
$94.
So the black goes in to end with a lovely century break. And what can one say? At this end of this mid-session, he leads 7 frames to 2. Thank you, Jimmy, for a wonderful show.
Well, that says it all, Jack. No doubt Jimmy there in top form, and you've got to feel sorry, haven't you, for Tony Drago. No way the snooker he's been playing this morning reflecting a 7-2 scoreline. Against anyone else, he'd probably be in the lead. But Jimmy firing in all cylinders, and that match will be played to a conclusion tonight. It's the first of 10 frames. Now, Jimmy was threatening a century break all morning. He got one there, as you saw. It places him, what, there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in the century break list. Neil Foles, the man in form. There will be a prize of £14,000 for the highest century break, and if someone's lucky enough to get 147, the maximum, £100,000 will be theirs. Should tell you, Jimmy was the man that collected the top prize, the 14 grand last year. He had a top break of 140, and who's to say that he won't do the same again this year on the sort of form that we've witnessed this morning.
White, in fact, was the man who produced spectacular snooker, coming out tonight, as I've told you, with this score on the board. Jimmy White leading at 7 frames to 2. The first 2 tonight, they were shared, so it was 8-3. And the crowd waiting for the fireworks, and certainly they were going to get some. Let's take a look at the next one they play. That is frame 12 of this match. Remember, it's the best of 19. As we join it, is Jimmy White, just with a slight deficit. Jimmy White on 1 and Tony Drago on 8. White to play.
Jimmy more or less forced to going in for that pot.
wasn't a good safety on.
One.
This is a chance for Tony.
Eight. Eight. Tony Drago.
Good safety shot out from Jimmy, covering the right-hand side of the reds. Stopping Tony Drago finding a return to balk. So played another containing safety shot. Can Jimmy now put him in even more trouble?
Well, he's found exactly the same spot, John, but not quite so easy for Tony Drago to find a safe spot this end of the table. Now he's left a possible one to the right middle. Most players would refuse it, but Jimmy White often has a go, being cautious and quite rightly, I think. Well, Jimmy was perhaps a little lucky not to have left Tony an easy starter. Oh, that's a great shot.
One. Six. Seven. $14. 15. $20. 21.
Didn't play that too well, but that was a very fortuitous kiss. Kissed the red. Brought the pink on, but as he's overstretching, prefers the blue. Clean as a whistle. 41
26.
points in front now. Still plenty to go at.
27.
And you consider that Tony Drago should have won the first frame this evening. Could have been looking at a score of 7-5.
32. $33.
That's if he wins this frame, of course.
$39. 40. 46.
This the vital red.
47. 54. 55. 63.
Crowd loving this quick fire, quite delightful snooker.
68. 69. 74. 75.
Yes, got carried away with the last one, but nevertheless, just 10 minutes, Tony Drago pulls another one back.
13th frame, Tony Drago to break.
Well, took a bit of a flyer at that one.
One. Eight. 9. 16. 17. 18. 24. 25. 32. 33.
Well, I suppose he could go into the reds this time, but there's a couple of loose reds out there and an angle to get on them. Either of them. But going into the pack really gives Jimmy an opportunity of making a big
40.
break. Red split very nicely.
Yes, and I think the fact that he did go into the pack.
41.
This is all reds, all blacks so far.
$48.
Doesn't look too happy. Might have just run a little bit too far. He might be able to bend it a little bit of side. She's
49.
done. So, I don't think Jimmy at the moment has got anything in his sights for the maximum.
$56. 57. 64.
Just a little short of pace to be ideal to stay on the black. And as John
65.
says, that's what Jimmy's thinking about. All reds, all blacks. Being much easier to play for the blue.
$72. 73. 80.
Anything but that. Still a red in that far right corner pocket. In actual fact, my colleague Ray Edmonds had just reminded me that in the British Open this year, Tony Drago was sat down while James Watanabe made a 147. Can history repeat itself? Needs a bit of luck. It's not bad. Shot with the rest that was.
88. 89. 96.
That's a pity. Is he covered on both reds? Or will that red just pot? If it does, he'll have to just drop it in and leave himself a difficult black.
The crowd have been aware for some moments now what was in Jimmy's mind.
He needs an angle desperately on this red, and I think he's got it.
$113.
Perfect.
$122.
Oh, Jimmy White said he was in the best form for a long, long while coming here.
$125.
Only Cliff Thorburn has made this break once before at the Crucible.
$129.
Well, it's getting to me as well, but it's not too bad. He's left-handed. Just stun the blue in and leave yourself just a pink to roll in, although nothing's easy now.
134.
£100,000 for Jimmy White if he can knock the pink and black in.
Quite magnificent. Jimmy White creates history at the Crucible Theatre. A magnificent 147. Tony Drago hugs in. The frame score doesn't really matter, but it's Jimmy White who takes the frame before the mid-session interval.
Sip of water, what a moment. The day began here with some Jimmy White magic, and there, for only the second time in World Championship history, a maximum break of 147. Cliff Thorburn, as Ray was saying, did it in 1983 against Terry Griffiths. Tremendous stuff. £100,000. It was no surprise that Jimmy White then took the next frame as well in less than 9 minutes. So Jimmy White is through to the last 16. Well, the story of tonight's snooker continues now in Sports Night, which is underway on BBC One. Frank Bruno's about to come out for his fight live. Oh, you've gone. But if you're still there, let me tell you, we'll continue the snooker story here, back on BBC Two at 11:15. Enjoy Frank Bruno. I'll enjoy seeing you later. Goodbye now. I'm going to watch.